Hey Cody, I was watching your video. Going to do a response from this channel. It's a little bit more personal than I usually get. When it's not up tempo, people don't want to see it. So I'm putting it on this channel. Hope you don't mind. It's a moving story that you told. Honestly, the most moving part was the footage of Jessica at the very end. That, ooh, that could tear a person's heart out. She's having to go through what you're going through, or already had to. This fear of abandonment, really. Abandonment of a person that you look up to and admire and love the most. I don't talk about love a whole lot. I do in philosophical scenarios, but it's a way of distancing myself from it. The more I think about it, the less I can do it. So it's healthier to not talk about it for me. But as long as it's understood that I probably won't be following this video up at all, I guess we can talk about it a bit. You know, Hollywood is completely based on love. So every angle of love you're ever going to encounter has probably been used in a movie of some sort or another. And it's just because they're running out of material. They've got to do as many as they can, explore as much as they can. But there are a few things that you said that I agree with, that are resonated in movies. The first is Brad Pitt in the movie Troy says something along the lines of, because the gods are immortal, they envy us. They envy our mortality. Because we know we're going to die, we see things a little more clearly. We enjoy beauty a little bit harder. We love a little bit harder. That's something that gods can't have. I wonder how the Christians really think of God's love and all of its infinitesimal glory. How passionate can it be when it's not finite? And the end is not known. I don't know. I don't know how they can buy into that. Our sort of love is much more beautiful. There's another movie called The Life of David Gale, and there's a section in there. Kevin Spacey is playing this philosophy professor, and the lecture he's giving at the beginning is on Lacan, and the point he makes about something that Lacan was saying, that we can't want something if we have it. We can't desire it. We can't aim for it. The moment we obtain our desires, we can't want it anymore. We don't want it anymore. So, to build somebody up in your mind, probably beyond something that they actually are, lets us seek to obtain infinitely. We're always growing, we're always changing. It never stagnates, this desire to get something that we can't have. And deep down we all know that we can't have it, because it doesn't even exist. The real person's right here. Jessica, she's just a human. She's got flaws, she's imperfect, she's not all she's cracked up to be. Did I say Jessica? I meant the other person. I forget what her name is. I didn't mean Jessica. The one that you're pining after right now. This person that you love, that you are striving for, you want so badly, this person that doesn't love you as much as you love her, doesn't exist. She's a figment of your imagination, and it's a very difficult delusion to get over, just because you have the actual person there, reminding you of the perfect version constantly. So you've always got your eyes on the perfect version, and it's always fed by the imperfect version, the human person. Caitlin is her name. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot that. Caitlin's over here, you're aiming up here, and you do this so that it won't stagnate. I've been with my wife for 7 years now, married to her for 4. It's not the sort of passionate love that I'm sure you're having with Caitlin right now. But it's also not the apathetic love that you had with Jessica. It's probably more akin to what you have with your daughter. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. If we were to separate, the conditions we'd like for that to happen in, if we just simply grew apart. We wouldn't want to start fighting. We don't fight at all. Rarely ever. If you ever see us fighting, it's not usual. It's not a I want. It's not a desire. It's a feeling that that person is a part of you. You've already got yourself. You already have the person. So striving after it isn't an issue. But I think you're right in that we compare loves. We sort of try to measure them arbitrarily, but we try to measure them according to our experiences, our past experiences with love. There was a girl that I dated probably 10 years ago, and it wasn't a very long relationship. And she is, to this day, the one that I consider to be the one that got away. The love that I had for her, still have for her, is a very different sort of love than I have for my wife. Back then it was something I had to have. Nowadays, it's something I look back on fondly, and I enjoy the memories of her. But I don't even want it. You get tired of chasing. It's this eternal chase, this eternal striving. And we aren't eternal creatures. It's got to be a different sort of love that's meant for us. If long-term companionship is at all in our nature. And I think it is. Again, evidenced by your daughter. And I think once you get past the idea that this striving is how you love hard, the really passionate love, and again, you've already got a taste of this with your daughter, comes in not trying to obtain, but enjoying what you have. Put that way, it sounds a little bit like a concession, but it's not. Again, all I have really of your 3 stories here, your 3 loves, is your daughter to compare it to. Perhaps that's the sort of love that you actually want. In the other 2, you weren't after love, but the person. With Caitlin, you're after this ideal person. With Jessica, you wanted to be away from her. She wanted you. When you start to want the love, the relationship, when you enjoy having rather than desiring what you don't have, the landscape of love, the language of love, terminology and the way that you think of it becomes something else. I don't know if this has anything to do with what you were talking about, if it's at all what you're after. These are just the thoughts that roll off the top of my head after watching. I know you get it, though. What happened with Jessica? That clip at the end. hell, it didn't even happen to me, and it feels like shit. I've made a mistake. Well, someday, someday you'll have it, Cody.